Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 overrated comedy movies. Yep, I'm continuing with my overrated, underrated top 10 lists. Probably gonna do a bunch of more genres and stuff. I tried to do like westerns, but I just couldn't think of a lot of overrated westerns. I thought of a couple, but not a lot, because that's just a damn fucking good genre. But comedy, I had a bunch of underrated, overrated, so this is the easy one. Maybe next one we'll do like a horror or a science fiction. Those are a little more easier to do. But these comedy movies are just, they're majority really, really well liked. Some of these movies are iconic. One of these movies is a Best Picture winner. Like, these are very well known comedies, and for the most part, people really, really enjoy them. I do not. I just do not. One of these movies, I think is decent. Just I think it's overrated. So that's all I'm saying. I think these movies are critically acclaimed or just like loved by fans that have a huge fan base, and I don't get it. I don't get the critical acclaim. I don't get the huge fan base. I don't understand. Nothing wrong with that. You guys like these movies? That's okay. I just don't. So let's get to it. Here are my top 10, my personal overrated comedy movies. Coming in at number 10 is The Good Boys. We got The Good Boys. The Good Boys ain't a good movie. You got Jacob Tremblay and other kid actors. The whole, I guess, shock value of this movie is that 12-year-olds are talking about sex and swearing like sailors and, want to get laid and all that stuff. It's very American Pie, but with, 12-year-old boys. And it's not that shocking because we've seen stuff like this before. If you've seen The Bad News Bears, the original one, or Stand By Me, or It, or even Stranger Things, you know all about young teenage boys cursing and talking about things that they shouldn't be talking about. That's the whole shock value of The Good Boys, and it's not that funny, and it's not that unique, it's not that original, and it's not even that enjoyable. I saw this movie in theaters when it came out, never really was a fan of it. I didn't even do a fucking review because I just didn't know what to say about it. I'm just like, well, it's a comedy movie, and I didn't laugh, so I guess it's not a comedy movie I like, but apparently people do, critics do, good for them, I'm not one of them. Moving on. Number 9, I'm going with another, comedy about teenage boys for some fucking weird-ass reason. I don't know why. Mid-90s. Mid-90s is not a fan. Good try, Jonah Hill, I guess, but, I know this is more like drama comedy, but it is comedy. It's labeled as a comedy, so, I just did not like it. I didn't find it interesting. I just didn't get invested with this lead character, and I thought, this kid wants to be a skater. That could be interesting. You can relate to a lot, even, kid characters. Even 8th grade that movie is not, amazing, but you can understand her as a character. But this kid in this movie, I just didn't get him. I didn't understand him. And the thing is, I love stuff about, skateboarding and stuff. Lords of Dogtown, that's a good movie. I love, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. I just love Tony Hawk, man. They should make a biopic about Tony Hawk. I don't know. That should be coming soon, hopefully. But I thought this movie would be interesting because a movie about skaters and stuff, that sounds kind of cool. I was never a skater when I was younger, but I always wanted to be. I always thought, skateboarding was, so cool and stuff. I thought this movie would be, funny and interesting, maybe, a little satirical of skater kids and stuff. Not really. It's just kind of this really boring coming-of-age story that I just didn't give a shit about. I'm just yeah, that's a forgettable movie. But, again, some people seem to really enjoy it, so I guess it does its job. All right, number 8. Iconic one. Very quotable movie. Not by me, but to a lot of people. Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon Dynamite is a huge quoted movie. People love it. People make fun of it. It's just in our culture now, and it's in memes. It's just on the internet everywhere, and people always do the John Here voice, idiot. Oh, no. Oh, gosh. This movie, to me, is stupid, but that's the point of the movie. And the thing is, I love dumb comedies. I laugh my ass off when it comes to really ridiculous comedies. Just wait till I get to the underrated comedies, how many ridiculous comedies I have on that list. But this one for me just doesn't tickle the funny bone, man. I don't find it that funny. Maybe it's too dry, maybe it's too stale, maybe it's just too awkward. Awkward comedy doesn't always hit me. Sometimes it can be funny, like in The Office, it can be funny. Sometimes in like Bridesmaids, it can be funny, like awkward comedy. But this movie is just awkward. It's weird and just it's not. And I get people love it, but I've watched this movie multiple times. I just can never get into it. I don't know what it is. Just it's not my thing. Sorry, John, here with your dancing. Number 7 is the fucking Borat sequel. This movie blows. I don't know what people were thinking, critics were thinking. This movie was nominated for an Oscar. This movie had a shit ton of Golden Globe nominations. People loved this movie. I don't get it. The first Borat, I kind of get. That's a funny movie. It's a different movie. It's a very shocking movie. But I feel like with Sacha Baron Cohen, after he did the Borat movie, as good as that movie is, he just kind of blew it, and he just thought, like, I'll just keep doing that with Bruno, which was terrible. And the Dictator, terrible. And then this Borat sequel, he's like, well, people are not liking it. I'll just make a sequel to Borat. And it's just the same shtick again, but less funny and less shocking and less crazy, and just it's a lot about him and his daughter, and she is not funny or interesting, and just they poke a lot about politics in this movie too, and this movie gets fucking political, and that's why it's very politically praised, because critics love the politics it talks about and the craziness of, like, right-wing politics and stuff. And I don't dislike it for that. I just dislike it for not being funny. It felt like it tried so hard to make a statement than to make a joke. And that's why I had some issues with it. See, Borat's story in the first Borat movie is such an insane story that he wants to marry Pamela Anderson, and he wants to, like, kidnap her and put her in a bag and stuff. That is the most ludicrous idea for a movie, but it works. This one, he just wants to marry his daughter to the vice president of the United States, and it's like, okay, and just the direction it goes is just nothing that funny. I don't know. I'm in the minority, I think. Anyways, let's talk about Amy Schumer with number 6, Trainwreck. This movie is a train wreck. Written by Amy Schumer, directed by Judd Apatow. I remember watching this movie the first time and liking it a lot because I liked Bill Hader and John Cena a lot in the movie. But when you get to the roots of Amy Schumer and then you watch the video of all the jokes she stole, a lot of those stolen jokes are in this movie because she wrote it, so it's a little hard to like it now. And even when you watch it, let's say not even knowing that, the movie does not have a rewatchability factor. Those jokes that are kind of funny watching on a big screen full of a crowd of laughing people, it doesn't really come off that funny when you're watching it at home by yourself. You're just like, I wonder what else is on. Because then you just got to come to the realization, Amy Schumer is not funny. I rest my case. Number 5, Get Him to the Greek. Get Him to the Greek is, I wouldn't say it's a loved movie, but it is critically pretty praised, and it's like in the high 70s on Rotten Tomatoes. And when it did come out, people really enjoyed it. I know no one at all talks about it now, so it's kind of fallen by the waystlines. And I'm kind of glad because it's not very good. And the thing is, I like Russell Brand. I am actually subscribed to his YouTube channel. I actually really like his stuff. He is god-awful and fucking unlikable and so obnoxious in this movie. Could not stand him in this movie. It's a spinoff of Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Way better movie. This one is about Elvis Snow, and the music agent has to, like, get him to the United States to perform a concert, but all crazy shit happens. Jonah Hill has moments in the movie, but the movie is just so unlikable and just so unfunny and just so, like, in your face that it gets on your nerves. It doesn't make you laugh. It just makes you just hate the characters on screen and just makes you hate what you're watching, and just was never a fan of Getting to the Greek. And I remember when I saw this in theaters, I was so let down because I'm like, oh, come on, this could be hilarious. Spin-off of Forgetting Sarah Marshall, and holy shit, was it bad. Really bad. Number 4. Best Picture winner, Annie Hall. Okay, I don't hate Annie Hall. I don't actually think it's a bad movie. I think Diane Keaton is good. Woody Allen has some really strong writing in the movie. It kind of did like the breaking of the fourth wall joke, but the movie is so overrated. It won Best Picture, and it beat Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, which is BS. But this movie is like on like AFI's top 100 greatest films of all time. It's on some people. It's on like a lot of like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes' top 20 greatest comedies of all time. It's on a lot of greatest of all time, and I just don't understand. It is a average, I would say maybe pretty good comedy movie, but is like praised as this like masterpiece of like cinema. And it's nothing like that. Nothing like that. Coming at number 3 is Bill and Ted Face the Music. This hurts, man. This hurts, man. My boy Keanu Reeves, man. This hurts to say, man, because I love Bill and Ted. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is one of the greatest 80s comedies of all time. It's like top 5 of my favorite 1980s comedy movies. If we were just doing even comedy movies, it's probably my top 20 favorite comedies of all time. I love Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Alex Winter and Keanu Reeves are just amazing. That bromance, man, it just works. Great time traveling movie, amazing. Bogus Journey is so underrated too. That's a great, twisted, fucked up comedy that I really, really, really enjoy. Bogus Journey. Such a good movie. This movie I was very much looking forward to. Because I'm like, ooh, Keanu Reeves back. This could be great. It wasn't. It really was not. The biggest issue is it's not very funny, and just I feel like Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. I think Alex Winter is probably actually the best part of the movie, but they seem so like because they're older. It's so stilted, their acting, and they're trying so hard to be the characters they were as teenagers, and them acting like that as adults. It comes off weird and awkward and clumsy, and it just doesn't work. And then they have their daughters who are basically just Bill and Ted Juniors, and a lot of the movies about them getting all these artists and creating like the greatest song of all time. So it's so weird that like it's the whole Bill and Ted, their music is what like saved the world. But then you find out it was really their daughters and stuff that saved the world. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. Okay, I don't know. I thought that was just odd. And the movie just isn't funny or enjoyable. It just the jokes just fall flat. It's like a comedian standing on stage with a microphone saying a joke and just crickets. And I saw this movie The Drive-In because it was during the pandemic, and I was barely laughing. I was like shocked. I'm just like, this movie is not funny. And it's really making me upset because Bill and Ted movies are always laugh out loud hilarious. And this one is just awkward. And yeah, sadly, but it's true. Alright, number 2, Girls Trip. This movie is just 2 hours of sheer annoyance. For one thing, it has Tiffany Haddish and Jada Pinkett Smith, 2 actresses I am not a fan of. Not at all a fan of. But it does have Regina Hall and Queen Latifah, who I have been fans of, and I do enjoy in quite a few movies, both of them, and they both can be very, very, very funny. But Tiffany Haddish, apparently everyone always says Tiffany Haddish steals this movie. I think she's so annoying in this movie. Not one thing she says in this movie is funny. She just kind of just yells a lot and just says weird things. And there's like this pee joke that everyone thinks it's funny. And it's just, it's kind of stupid. And I'm just like, who the fuck pees that much? I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I didn't get it. I didn't find this movie that funny. And again, comedy is subjective, of course. Everyone will find something funny, and others might not find that funny. And that's the thing about this list. It's all about what I find humorous. To me, Girls Trip is not funny. And that's about it. I'd rather watch a road trip with Sean William Scott and Breckin Meyer. That movie's not even that good, but I laughed more in that movie than this one, so. Moving on. Number one. The fucking Hangover. This movie, man, like, this movie is so praised, and it got 2 sequels, which all sucked. This movie was a massive hit. Like, it was, like, the highest grossing, like, R-rated comedy. Everybody was quoting this movie and talking about this movie. Everyone says still, even this is Todd Phillips' best movie. I don't. I think Joker's his best movie. This movie sucks. It's not that funny. Like, the idea is funny, though. It's got a great idea about guys waking up from a hangover and they have no idea what happened and they're looking for their best friend. That's a funny premise. It's just the jokes and the situations they go through. And the thing is, even the situations they go through can be funny. They're just not executed in a funny way. Like, everyone finds this scene funny, and I just don't get it. I remember seeing that movie in theaters, and people laughed their fucking asses off of that scene. I'm just like, am I not getting something here? I don't know. And again, Zach Galifianakis, who I've seen him play some really great roles. He is so annoying in this movie, and everything he jokes about is just, it's ridiculous. Like, and again, I don't get it. I just don't get the jokes. I get the jokes. I just don't get how people find them funny. They're very juvenile. I feel like a 15-year-old wrote this movie. And I don't know. There's a couple scenes here and there that they get a laugh at me, but all in all, this movie blows. Fucking hate this movie. Overrated. So yeah, that was my top 10 most overrated comedy movies in my opinion. So let me know in the comments below. What are your guys' top 10 most overrated comedy movies in your opinion? Get controversial. Comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.